These are stories I wanted to keep to myself. You'll understand why soon enough. I work late, so I usually leave the building alone. Not by choice, though. The elevator doors were already open when I got there. A woman was standing near the panel. A man stood at the back, facing the wall. That was unusual. I usually ride down by myself. I stepped in anyway. The doors closed. The space felt somewhat smaller than I remembered. The panel lit up. Every floor. The elevator started moving again and I hadn't pressed any button. Down one floor, then it stopped. Hard enough that I almost lost my balance. The alarms didn't go off. There was no error message. The woman didn't react and the man didn't even move. Elevator started moving again. That familiar low hum. The number on the panel didn't change. It's still showing the 3rd floor. That happens sometimes, the woman said. She didn't even look at me. The man spoke while still facing the wall. Don't believe her. The elevator slowed down and stopped. I reached for the buttons to try and do something. The woman just shook her head. Wait. The man leaned closer to the wall. His forehead rested against it. The elevator shook. The number flickered once. The doors opened. You should go, the woman said. I hesitated. The man spoke a second time. That's what she tells the new people. The lights flickered. For a second, the reflection in the ceiling mirror changed. The elevator was full. People packed behind me. All of them facing the wall. The man at the back turned his head slightly. I couldn't see his face, but I knew he was looking at me. The elevator shook. The lights went out. When they came back, the people facing the walls were gone, except for the two. The man was still facing the wall. The woman was still there too, but she's facing the wall now as well. She didn't move or speak. The doors were still open. For a second, I wasn't sure who to believe. It looked like a fire exit, dimly lit with concrete walls and a stair. I didn't think about it anymore and went with my gut. I stepped out. The doors closed behind me. The stairwell smelled like dust and old paint. I started going down. One flight, then another. I kept going and going. I went down so many times I'm not even sure if I was even moving. Step after step, stairs and more stairs. No floor numbers, nothing. Just my breath and the sound of my shoes on concrete. I thought about going back up. Wasn't sure that would help. So I kept going down. I don't know how long I was there. Long enough that my legs started to shake. Long enough to doubt myself. Then I saw a door I recognized. The same door in our office. I opened it and stepped into the building lobby. The front desk was there. The night guard glanced up from his phone. "Evening," he said. I just nodded and kept walking. The door slid shut behind me. I walked out of the building and went straight home. I still work late sometimes. I try not to. But when I do, I make sure to take the stairs. My mom called to say she was cleaning out the house. It's her New Year thing. Closets, boxes, stuff that had been sitting untouched for years. She asked if I wanted to come by before she threw everything out. I said yes right away. When I got there, everything she'd pulled was stacked in the living room. Old clothes, school papers, and toys I didn't remember keeping. And one cardboard box. It was heavy. Inside were VHS tapes. Dozens of them. No cases, just black plastic. Handwritten labels. I laughed when I saw them. This brings back memories. I took the box home. I just set up a retro corner in my room. CRT TV, old consoles. I still had a VCR too. Picked it up at a thrift store a while back, and it was working. I put the first tape in without checking the label. It was just static at first. Then, a living room I recognized. My 7th birthday. Paper hats, a tacky cake with superheroes on top. My dad behind the camera laughing. I watched the whole thing. The tapes after that were the same. Family stuff, first bike, beach trip, Christmas mornings. Normal and really comforting. I started stacking the watch tapes on the floor beside me. Near the bottom of the box, I found a couple that didn't match the rest. It was just labeled with one word. Test. Different handwriting. I almost put it back. But curiosity got the better of me. The tape started playing. No static. A room I didn't recognize. Bare walls. A single chair. The camera was Sat down in a certain angle. Stable. Intentional. Someone was sitting in the chair. Their hands were tied. They were looking at the camera, almost asking for help. My dad stepped into frame. Younger than I remembered. He crouched to eye level with the person. "You can talk," he said. "They won't hear you." I stopped breathing. The person in the chair started crying. I shut the VCR off out of reflex. Sat there in front of the TV. I told myself it was fake. Some kind of sick joke. A prank. I picked the remote back up and turned it on again. There were more. Different rooms. Different people. Always the same setup. Chair, camera, and my dad. Sometimes he talked to them. Sometimes he talked to the camera itself. What to check first. What mistakes not to make. What to do. What to avoid. He never raised his voice. Always in command. At one point, he looked straight into the lens. Then he stopped the recording. I ejected the tape. My hands were shaking too badly to put it back in the box. I called my mom. She didn't answer. So I sent her a message. "Did you watch the tapes before giving them to me?" No reply. I didn't sleep. How could I? In the morning, my mom finally sent a message. "Those tapes were your dad's. I never watched them. I thought they were fishing trips." I went back to my room after that. I didn't open the box again. I didn't need to. I knew what was in it. I told myself I was done with the tapes. That whatever my dad had been doing was finished. That it had nothing to do with me. Sometimes, I still catch myself thinking about the checklist. But how calm he sounded. Of how sure of himself. I kept the box tucked away in the corner of my room. Just thinking about it makes me sick. I signed up for the neighborhood watch. Seems like a good way to pass time. And the HOA made it sound so simple. Walk the block at night, report anything unusual. No commitment. They gave me a vest and a clipboard. Said it helped people feel safer. I like walking. And I never really walked my neighborhood at night before. The first night was quiet. Porch lights on, televisions going through curtains, someone walking their dog. I checked street lights, noted the loose gate, nothing worth reporting. The second night, I noticed people outside their houses. At first, I didn't pay much attention. A man standing near his front window, a woman by her sliding door. Then I realized they weren't doing anything. Just standing and just facing their houses. Not looking at the street, not looking at me. They were looking into their own homes. I just carried on with my walk. Told myself it was nothing. People do step outside for air. People are just being people, I guess. At the next house, someone was standing beneath the second-story window. Their head tilted, hands by their side, staring up into their bedroom. They weren't moving. So I just kept walking. By the end of the block, I see something again. Someone on a porch. Close enough their breath fogged the door. Another person standing in their yard, angled toward the kitchen window. All of them looking in. No one seemed to notice me. Too distracted with whatever they were doing. When I got home, I wrote an email. Residents standing outside at homes late at night. The HOA replied the next morning. That's their property. Not sure what the concern is. The third night, there were more. Almost every house had someone outside it, standing close to the glass, staring inward. One man stood in his roof, crouched near a skylight. He leaned forward, peering down like he was watching the news. I stopped under the house and looked up. He didn't even notice me. I reported it anyway. The HOA called me this time, friendly and calm. They said that there was nothing wrong and nothing to report. That stress does things to people. That being on patrol could make you imagine things. They suggested that I take a break. I didn't argue. I stayed home that night, left the vest folded on a chair, watched TV, and caught up to my shows. Sometime after midnight, I woke up. It was a sound. Soft. Tapping. I thought it was just a branch brushing against the house. Wind. Then I realized there were two different sounds. One light and hollow. The other was in glass. Another sound. Close. Like tapping on wood. I didn't move. I listened. The tapping on glass came from the living room window. Slow and patient. The sound on wood was closer. From inside the room. I turned on the lamp. They were outside the windows. My neighbors. Every one of them facing inside. Some rested their fingers against the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Others stood further back, smiling like they know something I don't. I breathe out slowly. Then I heard it again, tapping on wood, right beside me. I looked at the closet. The door was half open, and someone was behind it. Tap, tap. The cabinet by the desk answered back, a softer sound. The bedroom door cracked open, just enough for fingers to curl around the frame.